Hello students, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. Today we are going to discuss about the topic regarding James Webb Space Telescope and how it can prove to be a giant leap for the mankind. So let's start and delve deeper into this particular topic. So first of all, if we try to understand that what is the reason why we are discussing about this particular telescope or this particular topic is because recently it has been news as NASA, who is the head agency that is running this project, that is National Aeronautics Space Administration, which is a space agency of United States of America, has actually changed the date of launch for this particular telescope. Earlier it was planned to be launched on December of 18th, 2021, but now it has been postponed to December 22. Overall, the net cost of this project is somewhere about $8 billion project, and the reason why this delay is there in the launch is because while transportation of this particular equipment, there was unplanned release of a clamp band, and due to this it caused the vibration in the whole setup, in the whole telescopic system, and that is why the scientists want to again reconfigure it and look for some damages. Now let us try to understand some important points regarding James Webb Space Telescope. So first of all, as we have discussed, though the project about the launch of this telescope is being headed by NASA, it is actually a collaborative project between three different space agencies. One, obviously it is a NASA, second is the European Space Agency, and third is the Canadian Space Agency. Second point, the telescope or the vision of this telescope was launched somewhere in year 1996. The development phase began in year 1996, and initially it was planned that somewhere in year 2007 the telescope will be able to be launched in the space. However, there is a significant delay, and initial budget of also estimated budget was only $500 million. So as we can see, the launch date has been continuously been delayed to 14 years, and now the budget has shot up by almost, we can say, 16 times, from $500 million to almost $8 billion. The construction of this telescope was completed somewhere in 2016, and it was planned to be launched somewhere in the next year, but again there was a lot of problems, some problem in the mechanism, and also in last year there was a delay due to COVID related regulations and all these things. So however, December 22 is the new date on which the telescope will be launched. Now coming to that, how this telescope will be launched in space. So it is being launched by Ariane 5, that is one of the most powerful and reliable space launch vehicle that is present in the world today, and the launch station will be French Guiana or French Guiana, which is very popular space launch vehicle station, which is located in the South American continent, and hopefully this Ariane 5 rocket will be able to put the satellite into the desired orbit. Also, one other point that we should know, that Ariane 5 rocket is being contributed by the European Space Agency. Now the main objective, if we try to understand, of this particular project, of this particular James Webb Space Telescope, so actually four main objectives are there. The first objective is that while entering into the orbit and while looking in the space, it tries to understand, or it will try to observe the first light that has been emitted by any star in our universe. If we try to understand slightly brief detail, so as we know, our universe came into existence after a big bang somewhere around 13.8 billion years ago, and after this gradually it was very hot, gradually the matter start to cool down and condensation begin, and that is why when we have formation of first atom, first proton, first electron, and then first electron, first proton, and that give rise to creation of first atom. From first atom we have first molecule, and gradually that lead to formation of nebulas and stars. So that is what the first objective of this particular telescope is, to look at the first light that has been emitted by the stars. Second is, it will also try to understand that how galaxies, as we know there are billions and billions of galaxies in our universe, it will also try to understand how galaxies are clumped together, are assembled together, and what is at the center of the galaxy. Apart from this, the James Webb Telescope will also try to understand that how the stars are born from the nebulas, and also the protoplanetary systems. Protoplanetary systems are those systems that represent the initial stage of formation of any planet. It is the protoplanet that gradually condenses, cools down, and the materials and particles accumulate that lead to formation of a planet. So it will try to look at the protoplanetary systems, that is when the planet is coming into existence. And in the fourth, it will also try to understand the planetary systems that already are existing across the universe, not only in our solar system but also in other solar systems as well, and also we'll try to understand the possibilities of life in the extraterrestrial space, as well as how life might have originated on the earth by understanding the origin of life, if possible, in the other planets of the world or other planets of the cosmos. So that's all about the objective of this particular telescope. Now if we try to understand that how these four objectives will be fulfilled, so there are four important instruments that are located or that has been placed on board of this particular telescope. So let us look at one by one that what are these four different instruments and how they will play an important role in enhancing our understanding about the cosmos or science. So first of all, if you look at this particular instrument, it is near infrared camera, also called as NIRCam. It will actually try to observe the universe by absorbing or by we can say by absorbing or by looking at the infrared spectrum that is in the range of 0.6 to 5 micrometer. The near infrared, why the James Webb Space Telescope has been designed with a near infrared camera. So we can try to understand from this particular point that try to understand that first we have formation of a star that happened a long time ago. The first star that would have been formed, and the first light that would have been released in the universe would have existed a very long time ago. And that is why, as per, if you know about Einstein's theory of relativity, it says that space or universe is continuously expanding, and as our universe is continuously expanding, the light that is traveling across the universe is also continuously expanding, and that is why the light cannot be observed anymore in the visible spectrum. So if you want to absorb the light, as we know that it goes through, when the universe expands, light also expands, and light enters into, or what this phenomena is called as red shift. That means light enters from visible spectrum to the infrared spectrum, and that is why near infrared camera has been put in place, so that it can observe the light in the near infrared spectrum. Apart from that, this near infrared camera will be able to tell us that how the different planets or how different stars are there, what is their location, how much is the age and all these things. But this near infrared camera cannot tell us that what is the chemical composition, whether water exists on that particular planet or not, what kind of biological life form, if there is any, what kind of heat signature is there that is being emitted by this particular object. So for these particular information, we have to depend on a near infrared spectrograph. The objective or the main reason for existence or for installation of this near infrared spectrograph is that it will be able to do the spectral analysis of any celestial bodies on which the telescope is focused. And what is the advantage of a spectral analysis? By looking at different spectrum that is being emitted by this particular object or by this particular celestial body, we will be able to understand the temperature, we will be able to understand the chemical composition of the particular object, and that is why we will be able to understand that what kind of water, if there exists, if there is ice is there, if there is existing on that particular areas or not, if any life form is there existing on or not. That is about that. Then apart from that, the instrument or this telescope also has another infrared instrument called as mid-infrared instrument or MIRI, that will actually observe the light or infrared in the spectrum of 5 to 27 micrometer. And why this is essential? Because the near infrared camera has certain limitations. The limitations are that this camera cannot absorb light that is being emitted beyond the gas clouds or beyond the dust clouds of a star. So that is why we need to have a mid-infrared instrument, that is MIRI, so that it can also will be able to capture or catch light that is being emitted from beyond the dust cloud or beyond the gas cloud. However, one limitation or one problem with installation of MIRI was that it need a cryo cooler to keep its temperature below minus 266 degrees Celsius. If temperature is above 266 degrees Celsius, then there will be a problem in getting the signal, or there will be a problem in analyzing the data by the MIRI. So that is why a cryo cooler has been installed over the in the telescope, so that it can keep the MIRI cooled. Not only that, but also so that to remove the heat that is being emitted by sun and the earth, a sun shield has been put in place made of a metal or material that is called as Kapton, that will shield the telescope and especially the MIRI instrument from the light emitted by the sun and earth. That is the third instrument. Apart from that, we have the fourth instrument, that is near infrared imager, that will capture the image in the near infrared region, and also it has a slitless spectrograph with a fine guidance sensor. Now, what is the role of this particular instrument? So, this particular instrument will actually, because if you try to understand, when this telescope will be placed in the orbit or placed in the cosmos, there will be a lot of light coming from everywhere across the universe. So, the main role of this particular instrument is to remove the unnecessary light or unnecessary noise, we can say, or background noise that is being captured by the instrument, and just focus on the relevant information or relevant areas where the telescope has to be focused upon. And that is how the telescope, and the telescope is made up of like large instrument, large mirrors are there. So, these mirrors has to be continuously rotated or moved so that it's we can say, so that the light from the relevant areas where which we want to explore can focus upon the telescope, and that is why fine guidance sensor will be helpful in that particular regions. Now, coming to that, why this particular James Webb Space Telescope is unique and why so much hullabaloo about this about this telescope is, the first reason is the James Webb Space Telescope is going to be the largest space telescope that has been ever built by the mankind and is to be launched in the space. Second point, for the first time any space telescope is being sent to a distance of almost 1.5 million kilometers away from the Earth. And third is that the mechanism, or we can say that not only the sending of the space telescope is very difficult, but also the commissioning of this telescope in the space is also going to be very very difficult task, as it will take almost a month for this space telescope to unfold its mirror, sun sealed and other smaller system, as well as to cool down, align and calibrate as per the requirement of the particular telescope. So that is why it is very intricate and delicately designed system that needs a lot of time and effort we put in place and the orbit. Now the question comes that how will this James Space Webb Telescope will be able to communicate with the Earth? So actually the communication will happen in 3 stages. In first stages, the telescope will send signal by a high frequency radio transmitter. Following that, the radio antennas of deep space network that has been designed by NASA will capture this radio signal, and once these radio signals are captured, in the third and last stage, this particular signal will be sent to the Webb Space and Operations Center that is located in Maryland of USA, where the scientists will analyze, collect, collate, analyze and disseminate the information and data to all across the Earth, wherever for scientific inquiries, wherever it is required. So this is the 3 phases of communication of this particular telescope with the Earth. Now, this is not the first space telescope that we have sent. We have other space telescopes also. So let us try to understand or have a comparative analysis with other important telescopes that were commissioned in the past. So first of all, the most famous telescope or most important telescope that was placed in the cosmos or universe was the Hubble Space Telescope. So we tried to compare the Webb telescope with the Hubble Space Telescope. It is considered actually as a scientific successor to the Hubble. However, the diameter of the mirrors that is put in place in the James Webb Space Telescope is almost 2.5 times higher, or 2.5 times larger than the Hubble Space Telescope. At the same time, despite the mirrors being larger, it is almost 130 kilograms or 130 tons lighter than the Hubble Space Telescope. Apart from that, Hubble Space Telescope was placed almost just 340 kilometers above the Earth. At the same time, as we have discussed, James Webb Space Telescope will go very far beyond the Earth to almost 1.5 million kilometers from the Earth. Other important telescope was the Kepler Space Telescope. So if you try to compare with this, Kepler also had similar kind of instrument, then it also used to analyze the data in the infrared spectrum. However, the major difference between Kepler and Webb is the Kepler was designed to capture a data or information that was very widely spread and very shallow in nature. At the same time, Webb will focus on narrow and deep data. Apart from that, we have also Herschel telescopic system was there. So if you compare this with the Webb, so Herschel Space Telescope was focused on far infrared wavelength, and the same time, as we have discussed, Webb is focused upon visible light to mid-infrared spectrum. Second point is, due to its far infrared capacity, Herschel was able to capture more older objects that are far beyond, but Webb will focus upon a more energetic phenomena, or the object which are emitting large amount of light, large amount of heat, and will able to focus upon that. So these were the major comparison of Webb Space Telescope with the other telescope that has been launched before by the NASA. However, the launch of James Webb Space Telescope is not free of controversy. There was a controversy recently regarding the naming of this telescope. As the name of telescope has been given James Webb Space Telescope. So the reason behind this, that the James Webb was the second administrator of NASA, and he was very famous, we can say, scientist who was engaged in Apollo launch activities. Apollo, as you know, it was a series of lunar exploration launched to understand the lunar surface, to bring back the sample from the lunar surfaces, as well as to put human on the lunar surface, as was the Neil Armstrong and Edwin Aldrin was sent. Apart from that, under his leadership or under his administratorship, NASA has seen almost 75 space launches. So he has a very significant contribution in the historical development of NASA and the space, we can say, in the understanding of a space. However, the controversy is regarding earlier this year, the four prominent astronomers, that is Chanda Prescott Weinstein, Sarah Tuttle, Lucian Walkovich and Brian Nord, have launched a petition for changing the name of James Webb Space Telescope, because they have claimed, or they have alleged, that when James Webb was the administrator for NASA, and also he was engaged later on with the political activities, or he was actually engaged in the State Department, he was responsible for purging of the organization from LGBT people. LGBT stands for the short form for, as you know, lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender. So when he was the leader or administrator of NASA, he made sure that none of the people from LGBT community are able to work in the organization. So he was considered as a homophobic, and on the basis of this fact, they petitioned to change the name of this telescope. However, NASA has denied these allegations, and he has said that it did not have any concrete evidence or proof, so that on the basis of just some allegation we cannot change, or we should not change the name of a space telescope. And that is all controversy about. Now, if we try to understand that how James Webb Space Telescope can be a giant leap for humankind, or is it a giant leap for humankind? So this can be understood from the simple statement that was given by Michio Kaku, who is a very well-known astrophysicist. So he has said that just since we will able to soon launch the James Webb Space Telescope, and it will go in the orbit, and now we'll have the opportunity to look at thousands of planets, and that is why he thinks the chances are quite high that with the help of this particular space telescope, we'll be able to make contact with an alien civilization. So obviously, if we are able to do this the first time in the human history, we will be able to have a contact with an alien civilization with the help of this telescope, and that can be the reason why it is considered that is very giant leap for the mankind. Not only this, for the first time with the help of this telescope, we will also be able to understand the rings that are surrounding our own planets in our own solar system, like as Saturn, Jupiter and Uranus, because till now, as a rays or as a light or the energy emitted by the main body of these planets are very high, we have not been able to properly understood the ring system of this particular planet. But now James Webb Space Telescope has this particular, we can say, this significance is there, or we can say this particular quality is there, by which it will be able to block the light coming from the main terrestrial body, main planetary body, and thus we will able to better analyze the rings surrounding these planetary objects. So this is the reason why this telescope is being so much in news, and everyone in the scientific community at least is waiting for the launch of this telescope, and successful launch of this telescope, I can say, so that we will have a much better understanding of the whole time phase, or a whole we can say phases, different phases of evolution of universe as well as evolution of life. So that's all about this particular topic. We'll come soon with another interesting topic. Till then, thank you very much.